Johnny Gill, and IGotSoul.com. It's Johnny. How are you?
Hey, Johnny. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, man. It's crazy busy morning already.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're getting there. We're hanging in there.
Well,
Actually, it's a good thing to be busy, so I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah. There you go. And, we definitely appreciate your time and, taking the time for this interview.
Oh, man. It's my pleasure.
Cool.
Pleasure.
So I'll get right to the questions then. First off, you're preparing to release your new album, Still Winning, pretty soon. And, since you haven't released a solo album in so long, how did you know this was the right time to, get back in the studio and start recording again?
You never really know. It's just that so many people have been asking me over the years, when are you going to record, when are you going to record, when are you going to record? And I honestly just wasn't in the recording state of mind due to the nature of what the business is and how I could see it in the beginning when it started, changing hands. I've been fortunate to be able to do what I do, and to not record for a living, but to perform for a living. So, it's a blessing when you have a position, you have an opportunity to take it or leave it. And I never want to and never will and don't ever plan on compromising what I do. I take my art very serious as my craft, and so I'm always in a place, in a position, or want to be in a position that I want to do what I feel is best, what feels right to me.
Yeah.
To allow myself and allow my fans to always have and be able to consistently give them the best quality of work that I can possibly give them. And the business has changed so much, and it's not so much about the artists, more so than it's about just the people that are running the day-to-day, that's in the office, that want to be, have the mic more than anything, want to be more the stars than the stars themselves. So, it can be discouraging, but at the same time, it's like I said, it's a blessing for the years that I've been in the business to be able to do what I do and having a good time performing, and which is where I have my strength, or what I enjoy doing the most. Has been truly, I've been blessed, put in a great position.
Yeah, and something you just mentioned is that you never want to compromise, your music and your style, and you also mentioned that things have changed a lot since you first came out and over the years, of course. So, what do you think you bring to the table, currently that could appeal to the new generation of R&B fans? Because R&B has changed a ton over the years.
I don't know. All I know is I just continue to do what I do, stay in my lane, do what feels right to me. And at the end of the day, I love all types of music, so I'm always open to trying different things, but also at the same time, not going and shying away from who I am, and not walking away from what has gotten me to this point with my life and my career. So it's a fine line you have to walk there, but I don't know what I've brought to the table differently, besides I just came to the table and brought myself, being who I am, doing what I do and what feels right to me. Yeah. And my attitude is to let the chips fall where they may from that point.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like that answer. Now, for this album, I'm curious to hear how you decided, what producers and things like that you were going to work with, because I know in the past you worked with some of the iconic producers like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Babyface, L.A. Reid. So when it was time for this album, how did you make, how were the decisions on who you were going to work with?
We sat down and actually really honestly made a conscious decision as far as who we were going to work with, as far as aiming at any particular producers. We just reached out to different people, different writers, producers, and wanted to try to get just great songs. Great songs is what my whole focus has been about with this CD. It's just good music. That's all. We have Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. We have Brian Michael Cox, Troy Taylor, Wyclef, to myself, who I wrote and produced some songs, as well as with great writers, Dave Young and Ralph Stacey, another great friend of mine, Sanchez. So we had some great producers and musicians and writers, and we just went by how the songs and the music felt. That's how we were able to come up with what we did as far as a great body of work for this new CD. So, and that's, I think, probably was the best way to approach this, coming back after 16 years.
Yeah.
Just find these great songs, no matter where they come from.
Yeah.
Great music.
Okay, cool. And now you mentioned coming back after 16 years. What's been like the biggest challenge, you'd say, in getting back into the studio and recording a new album? Have there been any challenges?
Well, not so much of the recording process. I've often, started talking about it. I never revealed this for many years, but I hate recording.
Oh,
I hate it with a passion.
Wow.
One of the reasons why it took me so long to record is because of that. I prefer singing and performing live because it's just that, you get the energy from an audience. And doing it in the studio becomes repetitious and redundant. It's like you just start to, it's a bit draining for me, psychologically and emotionally for me, because it's like I just like to do what I do and enjoy doing it and having fun with it. And it's like I realized too, after talking to Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and Jamie Foxx, and Antoine Fuqua, that there were people that have said to me over these, probably in the last 5 or 6 years, that, man, there's a void that's out there. People want to hear some, just great music, and you deliver that on, as an artist, and I've always delivered that, and that, it's time. It's really time, and you should think in terms of trying to move forward, just to fill that void that is missing. And that people really want to hear from you. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any idea. I really, be honest with you, I really didn't know whether people care less about hearing from me or not. Since time the music has changed and things have changed. Yeah. Besides, I know I get to go out and perform all over the world, from Japan to, like I said, from Japan to Russia to Australia to, I'm all over the place. So I never thought in terms of, people really, how much people would really want to hear from me.
Yeah.
And, so it's been a blessing. It's just been a blessing watching what has happened with the single, and how it's continuing to take this, life of its own. And it's just been incredible watching. I'm just sitting here in awe. I'm going, wow, what a blessing.
Yeah.
What a blessing.
Very cool. Okay. Tell me about the title, Still Winning. What made you decide on that to use as a title?
Well, when I first started writing, I was just wanted to, because it had been so long, and so many people have asked me many years over the course of the years, what are you doing now? Are you still singing? And it's like, I'm all over the world playing, performing, and been doing it for 16 years without a record. And it's like, I've heard so many things that were said, things that, that weren't true. You go, wow, I'm over here minding my own business and constantly feeding my family and enjoying doing what I'm doing. And people constantly picking and poking and throwing rocks at you, stones at you. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So, one of those things I never had an opportunity to do was really, in my music, was to address the fact that, I've been around for 30 years of my career. And no matter how you chop it up, win, lose, or draw, God has blessed me to be able to continue to do what I do and have an opportunity to present myself, get more music out to the world. And I've been able to do this for 30 years, and no matter what you say about it, I'm still standing. I'm still here. And it's just, and in a nutshell, that as long as I continue, and God has given me a gift and allowed me to be able to do what I do, guess what? I'm still in the game, and I'm still winning.
That's a beautiful thing. Okay, and I know that throughout your career, you spent the majority of your, you put out your albums on major labels like Atlantic and Motown. So now, you're under a smaller label, independent label. Have there been any major differences that you've experienced?
Well, yeah, but the differences that I experienced, you experience with major labels as well as any label. It's just, we have, it's a business where, it's about creativity, and I think, we, as an artist, after 30 years, I just have a point, ideal of what and who I am and what I want to do and where I'd like to be and where I'm trying to go. You know, and I think that you have, you know, to always have, to a degree, when it comes down to labels, it's, you know, it doesn't matter where you are, that, you know, you're gonna have your creative differences in some ways, but that is not a bad thing. It can be, it's a healthy thing, but it's just a matter of understanding that, you know, as an artist that has been around for many years, that, you know, you could just be respected for what you've been able to accomplish. And, you know, I've often said that the Bible says you know a tree by the fruit it bears. So, you know, when you look at the track record and then seeing where I've come from and what we've been able to achieve over the years, it simply says that I do have some idea, basically, of who I am and where I would like to be and where I want to go, and you know, how I want to, you know, continue to deliver my art to the world.
Okay. And now, you know, you've been in multiple groups over the years, you know, New Edition, Heads of State, you know, LSG. You've also done a duets album. What's your, you know, is your creative process much different when you're recording a solo album as compared to a group? You know, can you talk about that?
Oh yeah, it's totally different. You get to make the decisions on the songs that you want to sing. You get to make decisions on what you feel is best, and not have to worry about putting others that you have to take in consideration as you make a decision that might necessarily work for you that doesn't necessarily work for the other, or vice versa. But that's the reality of dealing with life as a business that we're in, but it's not a bad thing. It's just that in some ways, in some forms, it's like sometimes it can become, you know, a bit taxing, because it's a lot easier, you know, making the decision for myself than to making for others, you know.
Okay.